East LA, warlords come out to play. This could be your last day in life. Sacrifice, another Aztec dies.
The scientific term is called sleep paralysis, but the street term could be the devil riding on your back, and that's basically when you're trying to wake up or you're in the middle of the sleep but your eyes are open. Okay, so the sleep paralysis is basically like when you're you're asleep and you're in the middle of your sleeping times, but your mind is conscious, so your eyes are open and you're able to see or perceive like your surroundings. And what happened with me was I saw a black some type of black shadow like lifting me away, and it was really trying to take me away, and I screamed. I was trying to scream out loud. I was like really feeling like I was yelling at the top of my lungs, like saying help, like I was calling out to staff because I was in a group home at that moment, and nothing, like my body was really just normal, but it really felt scary, like something's taking me away, and then you get that cold feeling. You also feel that nasty it sounds like you're in space, I guess you could say. Like, I don't know, I didn't taste anything, you're just frozen. And then my thing with that episode was that I kept falling into it. I fell into it 3 times. So like the first time it happened to me and I snapped back into it, and like all of a sudden everything was normal. So it felt like a mind delusion, because I was like, oh, maybe I was just tripping. But then I didn't move positions, I didn't shift, I was kind of laying on my side, so therefore like the noise came up again. It sounded like space, like it's creeping in, like, and then like once again I'm in that same zone where like I can't move and stuff. And this time I was aware that I got into it, because the first time it just happened, I woke up and then I was in it. But this time, I got back into it, and it sucked because I snapped out of it again, and I still stepped into it once again until I finally decided, I'm like, you know what, I gotta go tell staff, I need to get up, move positions. And once I moved position, that was it. Like, you have to really move yourself out of your position. Like, I don't know
to get out of paralysis.
Yeah, so like, well, once I regained my consciousness, I was like, I'm not gonna stay in this position, because you get really scared, like whatever was trying to take me away, or just the vibe itself, the energies around me, like you get scared, like, oh, I'm not gonna move, so you're frozen in your bed, right? But then I'm like, I had to force myself to move. Once I knew I was back in control, or in my body, or whatever state of mind I was in, that I had control of my body, I had to get out of it, and I just moved, and it never happened again from there. But it just left me with a deep experience. Like, I've never been through that. The most before that I felt when I was sleeping or dreaming and I had like a nightmare, it's the cold vibe, like that really deep, nasty, cold, ice cold feeling. But this was really extreme, like freezing my body, but my eyes are open. That's the worst of it. Another time that I experienced was I had overdose. That's one of my overdoses, but in the process of it, I had taken over-the-counter medicine. I had that in my system, and then afterward I had a prescribed promethazine bottle in me. And I feel familiar with over-the-counter stuff, but prescriptions go about dosages in different ways, and this dosage, you only need a little bit, but I took half the bottle. It was like a bottle this size. So in the process, I'm on the bus trying to get home, and in the bus I noticed a person walking in. The way I describe it is like a old skater punker, and it looked funny because they walk in looking in all panicked and worn out and things like that, and then I'm over here like everything else looked normal. So I look back at that person, this person looked beat up, like they were panting, and all of a sudden this story was creating in my head. And I asked the person, like, are you okay? Like, and they said, yeah, I'm fine, I'm just out of breath. So I see this nasty image, but this person's saying I'm out of breath. So I'm like, am I tripping, whatever? I turn around and I look back at her, and she looks normal. And when I had seen her looking beat up, she looked like, it wasn't like out of this world death type of looking, but she had like purple under her eyes, like her lips were cut up, like a nasty image of like someone being hurt. And I looked back at her after I snapped out or something. It was just like a 10-minute bus ride, so within those 10 minutes all this happened, and she ended up looking normal, like that didn't even happen. So that was kind of weird, because it was only her face that got distorted. It was nothing else around her. It was not the bus seats, it wasn't me, it was just her face, and it wasn't like her whole body that got distorted. It was just basic details of looking beat up. And when I looked back at her, they were not there. She looked like any other person. So that's the second thing that I've ever came across.
It's pretty crazy. And the trippy part is that a lot of people have talked about the sleep paralysis, but nobody called it sleep paralysis.
Because I looked into it that same day.
Geez, they have a story for you.
Oh, good.
It was really like a deep experience for me, and I'm analytical, so I'm always gonna want to question and answer why, you know, and if not, I'm gonna try to seek it myself. So the thing with that was that I was gonna go on a pass that day, like from the valley back to LA, so I was taking the train, you know, I was allowed to do that. So, and the train was when the first person I spoke with, I shared the story, and it happened to be a male, like he's the one that labeled it dancing on the devil riding your back. So he labeled it like that, and once I got that and it sounded like it was like a common term, I looked into it from there, and then I read similar stories that they felt the same type of thing.
Now, when you research the sleep paralysis, is it medical or is it actual spiritual?
That's why when I started off saying the scientific term is sleep paralysis, but you really can't, it's deeper than just, you know, brain waves and what they could find out with their machinery and things is deeper, but they had to find some type of name for it, and it's sleep paralysis. You know, that's when they try to say that, like, the number of, what is it called, the rapid eye movement and all that stuff kicks in, and you know, it's like a certain stage, and like your mind got conscious when it wasn't supposed to. But to me it's deeper because I'm able to see my surroundings, and like, where does my mind create all these images? Like, I never seen, I mean, you hear about evil stuff and you could imagine it, what people lay it out for you, but like deep in my mind, it was like something I never came across. Like, how am I just gonna create that in my mind on its own without any drugs to add? I don't know.
Awesome. Thank you, XO.
You're welcome.
All right, you ready for your movie now? Your cameo?